Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Nephthys Yugioh deck profile for post-Duelist Advance. Getting the new Miracle Raven support in the Duelist Advance booster pack helped with a lot of ritual decks, and was testing it out with the Nephthys deck as well for the ritual play, just being able to use the level 1 for the full ritual cost for the good majority of our Nephthys monsters. Definitely does come in handy as an additional ritual lineup, replacing the incantation lineup just for additional consistency in the deck. And wanted to update this deck. It's been over a year since the last update, and always like to keep this ritual deck up to date. You never know, we may get some new support sometime in the future also. But until then, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For our ritual monsters, we're running 2 copies of Cerulean Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. You can ritual summon this card with Rebirth of Nephthys. You can only use each of the following effects of Cerulean Sacred Phoenix once per turn. During your main phase, you can destroy Nephthys cards in your hand and or face-up field, then destroy an equal number of monsters your opponent controls. Or during the next standby phase, after this card was destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from the graveyard. So you have the added special summon play, just like the original Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys, and then the added destruction power, using your own Nephthys cards to be able to do so. Additional ritual monsters that we run as well include the 3 copies of Devotee of Nephthys. You can ritual summon this card with Rebirth of Nephthys. You can only use each of the following effects of Devotee once per turn. If it's ritual summon, you can activate this effect to special summon 1 Nephthys monster from your deck. Also during the end phase, destroy this card. And if it's in the graveyard, you can destroy 1 Nephthys card in your hand. And if you do, special summon this card, just giving you that monster resource back onto the field as well. And then just special summoning more cards from our deck out onto the field as well for the special summon of a Nephthys monster, which includes our Sacred Phoenix also for the special summon. And then 2 copies of Conductor of Nephthys. You can ritual summon this card with Rebirth of Nephthys. If it's ritual summon, you can special summon 1 Nephthys ritual monster from your hand or deck. Except for Conductor, it's treated as a ritual summon. And if this card is distributed or destroyed by Nephthys cards, you can activate this effect during this next standby phase. Destroy up to 3 Nephthys cards except ritual monsters, 1 each from your hand, deck, or field, giving you more of those destruction plays, as mentioned before, since we have the additional destruction plays to rely on as well, which we'll go over in just a sec with the effect monsters. But the last of the ritual monsters include the 3 copies of Miracle Raven. I don't know where my 3rd copy went, so I just have a hand of Nephthys, which is just a placeholder for the 3rd copy of Miracle Raven in the deck. For the Pendulum Scale, once per turn during your main phase, you can ritual summon this card by attributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed it. So any of the Nephthys monsters can just be used to then summon out Miracle Raven. And with this card being able to use with the Miracle Raven effect, it must be ritual summon. This ritual summon card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. If you ritual summon exactly 1 ritual monster with a card effect that requires the use of monsters, this card can be used as the entire tribute. And if this card is tributed for a ritual summon, you can add 1 ritual monster from your deck to your hand. So not only can it count as the full ritual cost for the other ritual monsters we mentioned already, it gives you a search for an additional one, so being able to summon out your bigger monster and then add an additional search on top of it thanks to this card. And for the effect monsters, for the Nephthys monsters, 3 copies of Disciple of Nephthys. During your main phase, you can destroy 1 card in your hand, and if you do, add 1 Nephthys monster from your deck to your hand, except for Disciple of Nephthys. And during your next standby phase, after this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Nephthys spell or trap from your deck to your hand, just giving you the search power after using the destruction play to then be able to add our ritual spell from our deck to our hand also. And then 2 copies of Chronicler of Nephthys, being able to target a Nephthys card in your graveyard, except for Chronicler. Destroy 1 card in your hand. And if you do, add that target to your hand. And during your next standby phase, after this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Nephthys card from your graveyard to your hand, except for Chronicler. And you can only use each of the effects of Chronicler once per turn, but it's add back power, which if some of your Nephthys cards avoided the destruction play, let's say your opponent sent them to the graveyard with a card effect, you can use Chronicler to re-add them back to your hand to continue with those ritual plays also. With the one-ofs for our Nephthys cards being 1 copy of Sacred Phoenix and the 1 Matriarch of Nephthys, being able to have the special summon power of Matriarch and then the re-special summon power of Sacred Phoenix if we summon it off of Devotee. During the next standby phase, after this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card and then destroy all spell traps on the field, being able to then rely on that destruction power and recurring special summon power as well of Sacred Phoenix after you use it even as one of the destruction costs, even from the main deck. And then also 3 3 copies of Diviner of Herald, just as an additional setup to be able to send one of our fairy monsters from the extract to the graveyard. Sending Herald of the Arclight can then give us more search off of that ritual monster as well. And 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy of Spring for the deck, just sticking to the Impermanence and Ash Blossom lineup. If you wanted to run additional copies of hand traps, you can try marking out some of the additional spell searches like the Preparation Rites or pre-prep for those additional cards. It's just a very tight deck to use for the added searches we already have in the deck to then combine with our hand trap lineup. For the spells, 3 copies of Rebirth of Nephthys. This card can be used to ritual summon any Nephthys ritual monster. Also, you must tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster. You can ritual summon. Then, if you tributed Devotee of Nephthys or Cerulean Sacred Phoenix, you can destroy 1 card on the field. So, if you tributed the additional monsters, you get the destruction power of the card as well. And then they must equal or exceed the level, but we can use Miracle Raven as the full tribute as well for the ritual play if need be, just added setup. And on top of that, another additional ritual search. Included search power includes the 3 copies of Preparation of Rites and 3 pre-preparation of Rites for the ritual spell search, and then the additional monster from the deck or graveyard off of that card, and preparation to be able to add any of the lower level ritual monsters, including Miracle Raven with that lineup. 3 copies of Readying of the Rites, being able to add a Fiend ritual monster, so you can add Miracle Raven off this card, and then also give you the token to use for the play. And while you control that token, you cannot special summon from the extract, but you're just going to use it to summon out the Miracle Raven as the tribute for the level 1 ritual monster as well. And then for the 1-ofs for the spells, 1 Triple Tactics Talent and the 1 Call by the Grave. For our traps, just needing the 3 Infinite Impermanence, as mentioned before, as the only hand traps run in the deck, alongside Ash Blossom and Joy of Spring. For the other Nephthys cards in the extra deck, we do have some Link monsters as well. 1 copy of Nephthys, the Sacred Flame, needing 2 or more monsters, including a ritual monster. While it's in the extra monster zone, your opponent cannot target Nephthys cards in the main monster zone for attacks. This card gains, with this card, effects based on the number of ritual monsters used for its Link summon. If you used 1, it can't be destroyed by battle. If it was 2 or more, it can't be destroyed by card effects, and it gains 1200 attack. And 3, neither player can target this card with card effects. Also, it gains another 1200 attack, making it a 4800 attack, and can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. 1 big boss monster, depending on how many ritual monsters you want to use for its summon. 2 copies of Nephthys, the Sacred Preserver, needing 2 Nephthys monsters. They can only use each of the following effects of Sacred Preserver once per turn. During your main phase of this card's Link summon, you can activate one of these effects. You can add a level 8 Wing Beast monster from your deck to your hand. Then you can add 1 ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand. Or you can destroy 1 Nephthys monster this card points to special summon 1 Nephthys monster with a different original name from your graveyard, but negates effects. But you're getting around the destruction play that you're meant to do with this monster. And then just set up more monsters to then climb into your Link 3, Nephthys the Sacred Flame also. And then the 1 copy of Dynamondo, 1 Win and 1 Hida, the Chandler Link monsters, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, and then the 1 Relinquish Anima for these small scenarios where you're locked out of the ritual play, but you still have the Miracle Raven on the field to use, with the bigger Link monsters being 1 Nightmare Unicorn and the 1 Axis Code Talker, and then the non-Link monsters in the extract being the 2 copies of Herald of the Arclight and the 2 copies of Elder Entity for the send cost for our Diviner of Herald. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, as the newest card with the Readying of Rites, you can use this card for the setup of being able to add our Miracle Raven, giving you the token to then set this card in the Pendulum Zone, tributing out the token to ritual summon this card out onto the field. And then you have 1 additional ritual monster as well to be able to use for your tribute plays as well. And then being able to use the additional monsters for this summon for the ritual of your opponent's cards. It's unaffected by those cards as well. But then you're really not locked into anything. So if you have the additional place to go for your Nephthys cards, the Miracle Raven can even be used for the additional ritual monster to give your Nephthys the Sacred Flame the additional setup as well. Not even going for your normal summon yet for the added setup, but the added speed can also come in handy with the added search of cards like Pre-Preparation of Rites, being able to add a ritual spell and then add a monster from your deck whose name is on that monster, so then you can add Cerulean Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys from there as well. So off of the 2 cards, which were the pre-prep and the Readying of Rites, just needing those 2 cards in your hand gives you the added setup for the tribute of cards like Miracle Raven to then easily get out your Nephthys monster for that entire tribute on the field, and then during the additional destruction power of any other Nephthys cards you may have in your hand to then destroy cards your opponent controls using your Nephthys cards also. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy. I always love updating this deck. It's definitely a fun ritual deck with a lot of variety to be able to run in it as well. And until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.